Hello everyone, Connor from Project Heroes. Welcome to Uboat. This is a submarine simulator set at the beginning of World War II and plays all the way through to the end. And it also has mixes of survival elements, but it's mostly a your traditional submarine simulator, but you have to manage a lot more. We are currently going to be playing on the latest version in the experimental branch that they have released this year, the 2024.1 Preview 17, where they recently added in the Type 2 U-boats. They have two versions of it, the Type 2D and the... Oh, where is it? The Type 2A. Oh, they have three versions. My mistake. They have no, just the two versions. I am just being stupid. They have the Type 2D and the Type 2A, which we are going to be playing the A version. But U-boat is essentially, like I said, a submarine simulator where you take command of a German U-boat at the beginning of World War I or later in the war if you choose to pick one of those later scenarios like the 1940 or the later 1944 scenarios where the war is essentially coming to an end and you are resource strapped. We won't be playing those. We're going to start from the very beginning and do a full playthrough. Now, I got this game about a week, I'd like to say a little less than a week ago, and I've been playing it nonstop, and I've really been enjoying it. This is a game that's been out for a while, and I felt it would fit right in. Now, what kind of settings are we going to be playing with? Well, I want to go as realistic as we can. We're gonna go all realistic, just to start. Crew management. Some attention in order to compare that. For crew management, though, I might go for a bit more intermediate. We'll see. Let's look at here. So realism is currently set to 92%. Yeah, I'm gonna keep expanded sailor management off because I suck at that. The economy difficulty is gonna be easy. It's currently set to easy, but I think we are going to, I think, set that to medium because I've noticed that the, difficulty of the economy on easy is really easy, as in I was making so much money in a Type 2 U-boat of all things, that I might as well not have even bothered, having to struggle with it. But the biggest thing is going to be, not being able to find the resources we need, especially in later parts of the war, which we will do. We will use, kilometers and knots, because that is what I am familiar with in this game. Classic coordinate style. There is something that I want to disable, though, darker nights, for the sake of YouTube, so we can actually see when it's dark out. So we are going to keep that turned off simply so we can see. And as for everything else, though, normal. Perspective for gameplay. Torpedo flaws are set to realistic, so if we have a torpedo shot off at a very sharp angle towards an enemy ship, it might just not detonate, especially on the earliest torpedo models, and I'll explain a bit more of that as we get going. Size of convoys are just set to default. They're pretty substantial in size, to my knowledge. But yeah, I'm not gonna really worry about most of that. Contacts mode, disabled contact visualizations, not displayed in any form on the map. They are still reported verbally by officers and listed on the contact list. This map is also always displayed without a revealed circle of sight. Yeah, I'm gonna set that to normal. and disable health bars, because that makes it more of a guessing game for us. I'm essentially making this as difficult for me while still being, you know, what's the term I'm looking for? As difficult as possible without being... I'm also going to turn off the tutorial because I don't need that. As difficult as possible without being annoying. Also, we're going to have realistic Earth curvature, so we might not be able to, you know, see certain ships at a certain distance because, you know, the Earth is round. Take that, flat earthers. Next, we are going to get right into it, where we get to make our skipper. We are going to just keep most of this at default, I believe. However, clothes-wise, for the sake of me being able to tell the difference, I'm gonna give him a nice black leather coat. We'll keep the hat. Complexion, I'm honestly not really that concerned about it. Our captain will be Dieter Braun, which is a name of a character that I made. Oh my lord, that is loud. I can't do anything about that. Alright, so the cutscene was extraordinarily loud, so I might have to fix some audio settings for future episodes of this, but we'll see what happens. Ah, here we are. Oh, and I yawn. Here we are at the port of Wilhelmshaven. Friday, September 1st, 1939. Right before the start of World War II, of all things.
Viel Glück bei Ihrem nächsten Einsatz, Herr Kommandant. Kommen Sie und Ihre Mannschaft gesund zurück.
Okay, it was lagging. I was about to say, is he just tell me good Lou? Contrary to popular belief, I don't actually speak German. I speak broken German. But here we are. This is our Type 2 U-boat. This is where we'll be starting. And I will run you guys through why this U-boat is more difficult to use. And why this thing sucks. And why I'm going to want to get rid of it as quickly as we possibly can. I even forgot what U number we are. We are... Yeah, it's not going to tell me. Alright. Well, so this is our Type 2 U-boat. These were, to my knowledge anyway, only really used for training until I think the time the German Navy was getting a little more desperate. And I think there was only one engagement that a Type 2 had in real life where it actually got a confirmed kill. And I can't quite remember which U-boat that was, and I can't remember all the details. It was just something I quickly read about recently, when I was looking up the Type 2 U-boat. But what's the problem with this? So, we have 3 bow torpedoes, 3 torpedo tubes in the bow, no torpedo tubes in the stern, and so we have 3 torpedoes loaded into the tubes already, and then we have 2 stored torpedoes. That is all we have. We only carry a total of 5 torpedoes. On top of that, We don't have a deck gun. Well, technically, we do have a deck gun, but it's not an 88. It is a 20mm anti-air gun. Or 30mm. I can't quite remember. It is a flat gun. Therefore, it is meant for shooting at air targets and not ship targets. However, you can still disable a ship with this thing if you use the AP belts. Which we will most certainly be making use of. So, at least in a desperate scenario. That being said, the U-boat, the Type 2, at least the Type 2A that we are using, also has a very limited amount of diesel. So our range is very low, and our batteries also suck. The advantage we have, though, is because we are so much smaller than a Type 7. We are actually harder to detect, and our engines are smaller, so they make less noise. Is that going to matter when the AI difficulty is set to hard? In my experience, no. Yeah, I've been murdered countless times. But first things first, I want to actually take a look and see what kind of supplies we have, and what we have available to us. As it stands, we have 6,000 credits to use. I forget what the currency was actually called. It might be renown. But I could be wrong. Ammunition-wise, we really don't need any more for the flat gun. We can hold roughly, I think the exact number is 2,999 rounds, so 3,000 rounds of ammunition, essentially. I don't expect us to use any more than what we already have so far. Our torpedo loadout currently consists of a steam torpedo currently being loaded onto the ship. I see with the hard difficulty, the prices are increased, or the medium difficulty, the prices are increased. Yeah, words. Okay, so that was just being loaded into the tubes. So currently the tubes are empty. Will you stop? I'm gonna put something in you. Stop that. Alright. For now, I think we're just gonna use, I think we're just gonna keep a complement of 3 steam-powered torpedoes and then 2 of the electric. The advantage of the electric torpedoes is they don't really leave much in the way of a trail behind them. So they're more meant for, I guess, not being seen if you accidentally miss. Yeah, I've not really had an issue where the electric torpedoes saved my bacon yet, but anything's possible. Now, this is actually, so the warehouse is where we can get, resupplied, and we can also get upgrades for the ship. I do not feel the need to do that right now. Well, we don't have any upgrades available other than maybe change out the camouflage pattern. We will do that later, though. For now, we're going to go talk to our leading officer and get our first mission.
Wie kann ich Ihnen behilflich sein?
It's here to pass orders from the Admiralty. So here we can get our, we can either go and play the tutorial missions, which I don't feel the need to do. We can get purchases for in exchange for reputation points that allow us to carry more officers, or free roam so we can leave port without having an assignment and just, F around. Additional mission choices and headquarters influence. The headquarters will be important because that's actually how we unlock upgrades and new equipment, such as better torpedoes. But this is also where we get our missions.
Vom BDU, streng geheim.
These are our current orders. So right now we just have First Patrol. Now this is September 1st, 1939. The war hasn't actually started yet. The map will update accordingly, and I'm going to choose a patrol area relatively close. So I'm thinking we do Sector AN-15, AN-46, which is that green square that was on the map. And now we have the objective of reaching the patrol area. Let's take a quick look at our crew. We have Frederick as our... What are you? Are you the mechanic or the... You are the mechanic. So this guy's in charge of our torpedoes. I hit the escape key and the game has frozen. Oh, please, for the love of God, do not do this to me. There we go. The game also likes to lag for me when we first load up a game. So we got Hubert, and if Frederick is our mechanic, Hubert is our chief engineer, so he is in charge of the engines and whatnot. Our bosun is Joachim. And then our radio man is, how do you pronounce that name? Haro von Dresky? Mr. Dresky. So our radio man, at least until we get a second one, our radio officer, he will be the guy that mans both the hydrophone and the radio. Your technician officer is your guy that uses hydrophone, sonar, radar. Quartermaster, what do you do? Because there are some dedicated roles that I was not aware of. You can be a technician officer, so he is a radio man, which can be the radio officer, the technician officer, quartermaster for ship's weapons and food supplies for the kitchen. So quartermaster is pretty much, I guess, would automatically move stuff around for me. And then, or medic, because your radio men are also medics. Or a gunner. Alright. I did not know that there were more roles that I was unaware of. I called him the bosun. He is the boatswain. My bad. Somebody was probably yelling at me about that. Anyways, he can also be a watch officer and whatnot. Don't need that right now. Mostly because we can only carry 5 officers. The Type 2 U-boat only carries 14 crew members. I know there are some discrepancies between what the boat could actually carry and what the ammunition stores could actually carry in this game. Not too worried about it. But we got our first patrol. We don't need anything from the recruitment because we already got a full complement of sailors. So that leaves us the next option. The last thing we need to do is set a course for the patrol area. And thankfully, unlike if anyone here watching this has played Silent Hunter 5, you would know the pain that is getting through the Kiel Canal here. Because you would usually start in Silent Hunter 5, you would start in the port of Kiel. In the earliest scenario, and then you would have to manually plot a course all the way through the Kiel Canal, hoping that you don't accidentally smack into the side of a merchant ship, on accident, just simply from using time compression. In this game, you can simply click where you want to go, and it will plot a course. So that and the time compression is locked until you are out into open sea, or at least locked to either times 48 or times 140, depending on how close or far away you are from another object that you can potentially run into. Or, a mission objective or something. Right now we're going to use our time compression. Oh. It would also help if I give the order to start the engines. So we got our different options. We can't go flank speed unless we have men assigned to our chief engineer. So we have currently, that is something I want to take care of really quick, and I'm not the most... Night shift for sailors. I'm not the most... I probably do need to go through the tutorial again because the crew management in this is something that I am just not familiar with. Because I can set a schedule, I can set squads, which is how many sailors are up at a time. So for my night shift, I don't really feel the need to have as many people. I could be wrong about that. Specializations, and then the boat. And we can set a dive schedule as well. I don't feel a need to do that right now. But we can assign our crew members in a shift to a certain officer to increase the abilities of what they're doing. So for the engine, we can set crew members, and they, you know, as we can see, allowed gear can change so we can go flying speed now. They also reduce fuel usage, energy usage if we're using our batteries to propel the ship. And then it also, the amount of time it takes to execute an order is reduced. So we are underway though, so we're going to compress time, and I will be back with you guys whenever we reach this location. Or something else interesting happens and the world decides to crash and burn. Either way, we'll be back. Alright, we have just received an important message from command. So, important notice. Hostile actions on the part of the Polish allies, England, and France are not to be expected. Hostile actions against them are prohibited until further notice. FDU. Alright, so essentially the Germans have just invaded. Yeah, they have just invaded Poland. So I guess when I said World War II hadn't started September 1st, what I meant by that was essentially, you know, we aren't fighting the British or France yet. We have invaded Poland, so technically, yes, it did start. But you guys know what I meant. Probably not. Somebody once again was probably yelling at me. So, and now we have just received a second message. Britain has turned red. That didn't take too long at all. To all submarines, English ships are to be considered hostile with immediate effect. At present, all first wave submarines are instructed to attack freighters in accordance with terms of the prize rules. As long as the prize rules are in force, cargo ships flying the English flag may be attacked without warning. Okay. Alright, so we are essentially free to engage the British ships, British merchant ships, flying, you know, English colors. We can attack without warning. Therefore, the submarine war has begun. So we're gonna finish. Oh, there's a third message. And now France is ready.
Aktion. Und Radar bestätigt, dass alle britischen Schiffe Ziele sind.
Dresky, shut up. I'm trying to read. Anyways, hostilities with France. France has been at war with us since 1700 hours today. Defensive actions against French warships and freighters are permitted. Submarines are not allowed to board or attack French-flagged vessels. Self-defense is allowed. I point out that all United Kingdom ships are also to be considered hostile. So we're allowed to attack British ships, but we're only allowed to attack French ships in self-defense. Why was that decision made? I have no idea. We also see a couple of extra missions now on the map. We can click these to see what rewards they are. Mine laying in the British Isles. We can get certain rewards for every tier of that being done. I'm not too worried about that. Or we can do the tonnage war, in which case we can actually get a boat upgrade, which allows us to swap out to a better U-boat, which we are definitely going to want to get. So in order to accomplish tonnage war, we need to get so many, we need to sink so much tonnage of merchant ships, 25,000 to be exact, which, you know, for just the first tier of that, which we do get some money and reputation for. It's not that hard to do. I've seen some people in the Steam community page claim that in this U-boat it is one of the most difficult things. You just need to be smart with your torpedoes. What was I about to say? So, we have reached our patrol area, and we can now report that and get some money out of it. Not a whole lot, but every little bit counts, especially in the early game. As we start sinking a lot more ships, we'll get a lot more value out of it. Alright. Also, we got a report from... Who sent this? I did not read. We got a report from another U-boat, though. Widely separated smoke clouds in a naval square, AN 448. Suspected convoy, southeastern course, sending bearing signals. This message is followed by bearing signals. We can track the source as long as the transmission stays active. So essentially, we have a contact. It's closing in. I imagine this convoy is following the coast downward. So we're going to try going flank speed and try and reach the coast before they pass by. And we're going to try and intercept this convoy. That being said, attacking a convoy is probably not the smartest thing, but we're going to come down here and attempt to... Yep. Oh. I think that was the same convoy naval square. We can track source. Yep. All right. I believe that was the same naval convoy that we have decided to go after. Of course, we lost the contact pretty quickly. My hope is that we can beat them to that point, but in order to make sure, we can do a routine. We can click our hydrophone button, which makes our U-boat dive for about 5 minutes to 10 meters. I think it can go down to 50 meters, but it will automatically select a depth where we don't risk hitting the bottom. We dive for 5 minutes, let the guy listen to the hydrophone, and hopefully that will help us locate any potential ships nearby. And as it stands, it doesn't look like there is anything nearby, so I don't think they've passed by yet, which is good. I think we have found our, I believe we have found our convoy. They are closing in. Let us move to periscope depth. And move into a relatively decent attack position. Although we are going to look at our U-boat here, and I'm actually going to, first of all, I'm going to move some extra rations towards the, into the galley, simply so they can be used. Variety of food rations increases our, food, our discipline aboard the ship, because we got varied dishes, so we get +8 discipline a minute. So, not too terribly concerned. I need our radio man, not on the radio. I need you on the listening on the hydrophone. That way we can find this convoy exactly. Yep, here they come. Oh my. Game. Stop that. Game is lagging. There we go. Alright. I would say we are on a pretty good intercept. What has happened? Oh, land was loading in. Alright. So, leave the map and reset it so our thing is working properly. I think we're gonna catch them right before they make this bend. Also gonna set the alarm right now because we are getting pretty close and I want everyone at their action stations. Alright. Skipper is at the periscope. We are gonna zoom in all the way, and I'm gonna change my view from the freaking site itself into the closer view where I can actually see. What does this one do? Ah, it's that. Alright, I like having we'll just stick with this view. Raise the periscope up. Let's zero our thing. And there is our convoy sailing right at us, and we are actually about to... We are about to overshoot. Alright. Zoom out of that. Let's get our Let's get our let's get our radio officer on the radio and
Wir sind
report
bis
the
jetzt
convoy.
unentdeckt geblieben. Sie scheinen uns noch nicht entdeckt zu haben.
Because I really don't need the hydrophone now to see the enemy. We are going to get ourselves back into a position where we can get a pretty decent angle on the enemy convoy before actually...
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
I essentially want to get as close as I can without being at a really terrible angle. Oh, nope, turn that alarm back on. And stop the engine.
Werden wir dem Feind zeigen, wozu ein U-Boot in der Lage ist.
Because the enemy is right here. What are they doing? Oh, I just bumped my microphone. There we go. Alright. There's the enemy right there. How many ships do we have? There's one, two... There's another one. That is a Corvette, isn't it? Yes. Is it just 2 ships? I thought there was more. What am I not seeing? Oh, there it is. No, that's a destroyer. It's 1, 2, 3. They're either over the waves where I can't see them, or there is only 5 ships. Or I'm just not looking in the right area. There's another one. Alright. First things first, what kind of flag are they flying? They are flying British, so this is a legitimate target. That ship is currently at a flat angle-ish, flat-ish. It's flat enough. I think I want to go for the Empire Voice here. We can see their name on the side of the ship. Yep, we are locked on. So first things first, we in a good attack, we need to identify the ship. So we know that this is a freighter. Not an Empire Bell because they're missing the center mast, or they have a center mast. So not an Empire Bell class. That's a fishing boat. And I think the only ship in the base game that has a center mast, or at least freighter-wise, is the Empire Explorer. Let me just double-check that, because the Deo class is a tanker and looks nothing like this. So I'm pretty sure this is a Empire Explorer type freighter. So we are going to recognize that, and that allows us to get the rest of this data that we need to use the torpedo computer, the TDC, which is a targeting computer for our torpedoes, and essentially gets us a firing solution automatically. So velocity, we are going to essentially click this button. We are going to put our reticle at the end of the bow. We're going to hit start, and then we're going to wait until the stern of the ship is past the mark that we have chosen. Then we're going to stop the timer, and it will calculate the ship's speed. And then we'll set that. They are going 12 knots. We're going to tell them to update that in the TDC.
1, 2, Knoten.
Next thing we're going to do, this ship that we've targeted is right here. We are going to find the angle, and how we do that is we take our protractor, select our U-boat, select the enemy ship, and then we take... I can't actually zoom in and see the bow, so we're going to have to get as close as possible. And we are going to take our other end of the line and just plop it right there, so it's shooting out from the bow of the enemy ship. And we have our angle, 108 degrees. And so we come back in here, and now it's from the view of the enemy ship. You have to set it based on the view of from like the point of view of the enemy ship is what I'm looking for. So if you're standing on the ship, where is the U-boat located? We are currently off their port side, so their left side. So we're gonna set it to 108 degrees bow left. So essentially negative 108. And if I can find it, 108.1, that's close enough. It's going to round it down anyway. And we're going to set that in the computer.
Gegnerlage 1.
Next thing is I'm going to wait for the waves to get out of the way really quick, and then we're going to set our range. And this is essentially, to my knowledge, how a rangefinder generally actually works, where it will have a ghost image of the ship, and you essentially set it by hitting Q and E, and it'll raise up the ghost image, and you want to line up the water level, or in this case, as close as we can get to where the water level is, to the highest point of the ship, which will be their center mast. And I think we are looking about right here. It's not going to be entirely accurate because it's hard to see what the water line actually is with all the waves. So, 4,000 meters. We're looking at 4.2 meters, 4,000. We're just going to go with it.
Entfernung zum Ziel 4, 0,
And then we are going to...
Meter.
We're going to flood. I think we'll use an electric torpedo, because the AI won't be able to guess the torpedo as easily. It's going to take a moment to synchronize. But we got all the data now. We have a set depth of 3 meters. We can change this. We can change this to whatever depth we want, and that will be useful if we use a magnetic, the magnetic detonator. But right now we're using impact. And because this is an electric torpedo, at least on this particular model, we can't set the speed to anything else. So we have our data. Gyro's angle is synchronized. We are going to fire.
Los!
And now we're going to get the next torpedo tube ready, because I fully intend on hitting this ship right here. Theoretically, I probably should have used the steam torpedo on this one, because that is a very short range, because I think the electric torpedoes only have about 5,000 meter range. But now that we've done that, we know the speed of this. I believe this is a tanker. This tanker looks... It is not a Dial class. It is missing the center mass. The 01 class, though, is looking pretty accurate. And I'm pretty sure that's what it is. We already know the convoy's heading at 12 knots. Angle on bow. From the... Once again, we are going to go from the U-boat to the freighter. This angle is likely to change as well, which is the other problem, because they are in a turn. So this one might not hit, so I'm actually probably going to set the speed higher on this torpedo. What was the angle again? 71.8 off, once again, off their port bow, if I can speak properly. 71.7 is fine.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren.
Distance.
Lage 7, 2, Bug links.
I'm assuming that would be about right. 3.4. Yeah, that's probably even closer than the other one.
Entfernung zum Ziel 3, 5, 8 Meter.
Right, we're going to set the steam torpedo as fast as we possibly can, which is 44 knots. Alright, gyro is synchronized. We are going to launch. And then we are going to speed up time and hope that that our torpedoes hit. Although I'm not sure about this one. I think, okay, so our steam torpedo missed because that guy was in a turn. This one looks like he's about to run into his destroyer escort, so we're either, I feel like we're either going to hit the destroyer, or we're going to hit the enemy destroyer. Like, we're either going to hit the freighter, or we're going to hit the escort. That's a corvette, actually. And it looks like we're probably going to hit the corvette instead of the actual freighter. No, it ran out of range. Alright, so we have so far mucked up this ambush. This is what I get for not waiting. Alright. Here's what we're going to do. I don't think they noticed that I mucked up both torpedoes. Or that I've launched any torpedoes. I don't even know where the other torpedo went. We'll go slow ahead. Yeah, they're not reacting.
Äußerste Kraft voraus.
Let's go. Let's speed as fast as we can down the coast here. We'll try and catch them again right over here.
Konvoi in Sicht. Peilung. 70 Grad.
Herr Kaloyen, wir befinden uns in flachen Gewässern.
And now we're finding an example of the AI's stupidity. what did they just... They beached themselves. They beached themselves. How? This is an experimental branch.
Alle Maschinen stopp.
This coastline right here between what is this? Hartlepool
Kurs setzen.
and, you know, Edinburgh, pretty much going from Edinburgh down to London. Yeah, the AI convoy just love to hug this coastline, and I don't know why, and it ends up into becoming jumble messes like this. That being said, I want to torpedo the hell out of them. You are a tanker. You are that OI class. You are going 0 knots because, like an idiot, you have beached yourself.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Geschwindigkeit 0.
I don't know what their panic was about, but all right. Angle. Not that it really matters too much. 68.8 off their port bow. You know, it's times like these that I wonder
Schussunterlagen
what
aktualisieren.
the AI thinks
Gegnerlage
in
6.
certain video
9.
games. If
Links.
anyone who's been watching the Ultimate Admiral Shipyard series recently would know what I'm talking about. Why does the AI act like this? What is it thinking? The world may never know.
8, 5, 2 Meter.
And
Rohr
because
1,
I have
bewässern.
gotten to the point where I'm not worried about about the AI stupid. Wait, why is it?
Rohr 1 bewässert.
This is an electric torpedo. Why am I not able to set the speed? You know, it really doesn't matter. Never mind. Just launch. The other freighter is behind it in an even worse position. I could technically launch out a Corvette as well. Let's launch an electric torpedo.
Rohr 3,
No, that's not it.
bewässern.
Let's launch the
Rohr
electric
2,
torpedo out of the
bewässern.
Corvette because I just want to say a good FU to the British for their own
Rohr 2
stupidity.
bewässert.
0 knots. Angle on bow is that ship, so our angle from us to them and then to their bow. 85.9. Let us set that. Not a very stressful engagement. And I'm
Aktualisieren.
very much taking advantage of a
Winkel 8,
glitch.
6.
Or
Links.
not a glitch, but you know, the AI stupidity.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren.
31,000. No, that's
3,
not right.
1,
That's
2,
not right at
5
all.
Meter.
Once again, I don't think it matters too much because they're not actually going anywhere. So I'm just gonna put 2,800 in and call it good.
Schussunterlagen aktualisieren. Entfernung 2, 8, 0. 0 Meter.
All right, gyro
Los!
is still synchronized, so let's launch. Let's see what happens. Because they are dead in the water. Is that torpedo? No, we are gonna hit. Yeah, there is the first torpedo.
10 Sekunden bis Einschlag. Torpedoversager.
Torpedo was a dud. You've got to be joking.
Bis Torpedoeinschlag.
Well, they know we're here because they heard a torpedo go ka-dunk against the side of their hull.
30 Sekunden.
I hope this electric one detonates. I've had this happen before where I've ambushed a convoy and the only thing I
bis
sunk was
Einschlag.
the escort because of my own. 'Cause
Torpedoversager.
my torpedoes were all duds on the transports except for the escort. Did they just say that that torpedo was a dud as well? Or was that the... No. You're joking. And once again, ladies and gents, we see exactly why these torpedoes had so many issues in the early days. So that steam torpedo is still trying to go for that freighter. That freighter is... Can I claim this as being sunk? This is stupid. Literally the easiest thing I could have possibly done. And it's still messing up. Alright, how fast... I'm gonna go for this one, the Empire Voice. And we're gonna see if we can't get this last torpedo with a magnetic warhead underneath it. No, I'm not sinking a battleship. You are I think another Empire Explorer, I believe. Because you have that middle mast. Velocity, I don't know. I would imagine it's still somewhere in the range of 12 knots, but we are about to find out. 5 knots.
Aktualisieren.
Fair enough. Angle on bow.
5 Knoten.
Now, here's the problem with the earliest magnetic warheads on these torpedoes, is that they had a tendency to be oversensitive and would detonate well before they reached the target. 64.9 degrees off their port. If this doesn't work, we're returning to port, mostly because we're out of ammunition, and I feel the big sag about that. All right, 64.8. That's
Aktualisieren.
Distance,
Gegnerlage 6, 5, links.
roughly 3.6. 3,600.
Schussunterlagen
That.
aktualisieren.
Flood the tube.
Entfernung zum Ziel 3, 6, 0, 0 Meter. Rohr 3, bewässern.
Fire the torpedo. Oh god, they've turned. They've gone into a turn. At this range, that means that we might miss. Nope, they're turning back into it. Come on, come on. I also did not set the magnetic detonator, so I'm kind of just hoping that this works. Yes! Torpedo
Feuer an
hit!
Deck.
Look at that.
Schwere Schäden.
So, out of 5 torpedoes, only one of them actually hit and detonated. Great. 2 of them missed, 2 duds, 1 actually exploded. Alright, we should probably skedaddle. At least get started on the process of skedaddling.
Kleine Fahrt voraus.
Because their escort is going to be very angry with me. I think most of their escort has beached itself, but I'm not going to take any chances on that. Especially because I'm pretty sure the... Okay, yeah, that Corvette is beach. Got it. I don't know how they've managed this. It's funny, though. Well, no, their Corvettes aren't beached. You know, I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, that freighter's on fire. It is burning. It is not having a great day. Here's the thing. In Silent Hunter 5, you can actually see where you can see hull damage. That is cool. I love that. That engine's also very loud. Hopefully that freighter sinks. Usually 1 torpedo hit does it. I know in real life, though, that wasn't always the case. Also, I don't want to be heading towards the enemy. Thank you very much. Alright, let's clean up our map. We have aircraft spotted. Not great. What is this radio? Foreign cipher, probably an SOS, I don't know. It's the enemy, though, saying, hey, something's up. Alright. But it looks like the freighter sank, so we can report that as a success, and we are going to get the hell out of Dodge.
Funktelegramm gesendet.
Oh, it looks like that freighter became unstuck. And we have just seen another aircraft. I'm hoping that they're not reporting us. For a second there, I thought I was scraping on the bottom. Let us see here. Are we being followed? I don't see any smoke, so I don't think so. At least no smoke very close. I think we just made a clean getaway, even though we really mucked that one up. Ah, it's amazing what I can do with my own stupidity. Alright. Well.
Kurs auf diese Koordinaten setzen.
Let us, I think I'm going to finish the patrol here, and then we will return to port, and we will see what happens. I'm gonna turn off this alarm and let everyone rest, because, oh my lord. Also, during that entire process, our radio man passed out, which is hilarious. Apparently there's a support that Oh, I found a rack. Found a rack? I've never found a rack before.
Telegram gesendet.
Single merchant. No, I'm not gonna worry about that. Why the hell was there a wreck here? I don't have a diving suit, so I can't really go into that directly into that wreck to see what it all is, but I think there's some crates floating on the surface.
Alle Maschinen, stop!
Yep, cheese, preserved pork. Let's get both of those. No point in leaving it sit here. Let me see here. Wait a minute. Oh my god, that's a lot. Alright, yeah, let's get that inside. Back to electric.
Auf E-Motoren wechseln.
See, the nice thing about the electric motors is I can use up the battery, swap over to the diesels, let the diesels recharge the battery really quick, then swap back to the electric engines, and I don't use that much diesel fuel in exchange, and that essentially gives me a lot of extra range. Honestly, to the point where I might be able to just make it back to, I might be able to make it back to our home port. Swap back to the batteries. And now we actually have the mission completed option, meaning we have enough either fuel or battery power to actually return back to port. So I'm actually just going to do that to save us some time. But that is our first patrol, technically successful. We sank one ship, which wasn't even in the objectives. So I think that was actually a win, even though we had 2 duds and 2 misses because I'm an idiot and didn't wait. Note to self, never attack an enemy while they're in a turn. Which was probably our biggest issue with that initial attack, but, you know. Dieter Braun received the Iron Cross 2nd class, so that was so they do have a bunch of real world German awards that you can get for the actual reasons. So we got the Iron Cross 2nd class, 1939. That's nice. We're well on our way to getting the Iron Cross 1st class. We got our first sunk ship of the Tonnage War. And we completed our first patrol, so we got some additional rewards for that. We sunk the Empire Voice, and we got some extra money for that. And there is our mission summary. We sank 6,226 tons, time 24 days, 22 hours at sea. God, we were out at sea for almost an entire month, and I didn't even realize it. And then we can go through our message list, which is essentially all the messages we got from command. For the most part. I think it left out some of those more important messages that we got, but either way. And we reached the patrol area and whatnot. We got a bunch of stuff from that. We got a bit of reputation. One thing we need to do, though, is we refuel and resupply the ship, and I think I will save that for the next episode because we have been going for a while and my throat is starting to kill me from talking so much. But it is now September 26th, 1939, and we have officially completed our first patrol and got our first ship sunk, which honestly is all I could really ask for from a first episode. So with that, guys, I will wrap it up there. If you all enjoyed, please leave a like and a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Call me stupid for the way I engaged the convoy, because, you know, I was, and I'm going to accept that. But either way, we got through it. And if you let me know if you want to see more of this kind of content in the future, or if you want to see more of this series. On top of that, if you don't want to miss any future content from us, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It costs you guys absolutely nothing, and it supports the channel. So, anyways, with that, guys, once again, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.